to Earstravagant Adventures. I'm your host, Rachel, alongside Katie.
Hi.
Here to whisk you away on another thrilling journey through the magical realms of Disney, Universal, and beyond. Grab your Mickey ears and your sea legs because we are diving into all the pixie-dusted fun the Disney Dream has to offer. And Katie just got off the Dream. So we have some very recent firsthand experience.
Yes.
Okay. But first, thank you to our sponsor, Alonzi Travel, the ultimate family theme park experts. Planning theme park trips can be overwhelming, but Alonzi Travel is here to make it stress-free. With their years of experience, they're your lightning lane to hassle-free travel. They handle all the details, allowing you to focus on having fun with your loved ones. Whether you dream of Hogwarts or a Disney cruise, they've got it covered, tailoring a trip to your family's needs. Visit alonzi-travel.com/take the trip for a magical adventure. Yeah. Well, let's jump in. Let's talk about the Disney Dream. How about some ship facts?
Woo! Ship facts. The Disney Dream launched in 2011. She just had dry dock this year, but that was mostly a refurb of the concierge rooms. They added more concierge rooms, and they redid Edge and Vibe, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I just got to see those. They're so nice. She's got a 4,000 passenger capacity, which puts her in the middle. She is the sister ship of the Disney Fantasy. So our smaller ships are the Wonder and the Magic. And so the Fantasy and the Dream are kind of in the middle. It's a good size ship to me.
Agreed.
Okay. She normally sails from Florida to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, but I believe last year she did some European itineraries, but I don't think those are coming up again anytime soon. The Fantasy's doing those next. Nope. What?
Nope, because I just booked my clients on 2026 Mediterranean, and they're on the Dream.
Oh, for 2026. Yeah, for 2025, it's the Fantasy. So 2026, she's going back to Europe.
Yeah, the Dream has had an interesting life. She's been many places. She was mostly in, until we got the Wish, she was mostly in Florida, and now she gets to go to the Med and other places, which is really exciting. So the crew contracts, they were really happy to have the Dream because they got a good mix of both. So yeah, I also love the Dream. It's still my favorite ship.
Is it? Of all? Do you think the Destiny's going to replace it as your favorite ship?
I have to get on it because I don't love that class of ship. Like just the layout bugs me, but the fact that it's light and airy, I'm gonna have to get on it, and then I'll be able to for sure tell. Because honestly, when I was on, it's the color scheme that gets me. Yeah, because when I was on the Fantasy, I was kind of like, oh man, I do like the bright airiness of the Wish, but the Wish has a weird layout. So
yeah. But I love the Art Deco, and we've talked about this before because I think we discussed it with the Fantasy with the Art Deco design. It is gorgeous. That atrium is beautiful, and it carries out throughout the entire ship. So good.
And Donald is the statue. So
I was about to talk about Minnie, and then I was like, oh, I didn't put it in the notes that Donald is the statue. And
I know I was just waiting, like, I don't see it. So when I was on the Fantasy, I met Donald 5 times, I think was the final tally. And one of the times I met him, we were joking because another kid was saying that he wasn't captain, and Donald's like, fine, I don't want to be captain, in Donald speak. So I was like, but Donald, you are the captain and the statue on the Dream. And he's like, that's right, I am.
But he's not the captain. Minnie is the official captain. Isn't he the admiral?
Well, maybe, but his statue has that amazing. Yeah. So maybe admiral.
He needs to be the captain. Like he needs.
Make sense.
Yeah, agreed. But Minnie
needs to be the captain of the Fantasy because it's her statue that's on the Fantasy.
Makes these decisions. They should call us. And ask us our opinion. But Minnie is officially the captain. The captain of the Disney Dream.
Oh, that's probably why she wasn't in her captain outfit on the Fantasy, because she's not the captain of the Fantasy. She's the captain of the Dream, and she can only wear the. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. let's talk about everybody's favorite topic, food.
Food. So this food is the same as on the fantasy. Animator's palette with the Crush experience. I don't love the Crush experience. It seems weird in Animator's palette. It like just seems out of place.
Okay. So comparing Animator's palette with what I've seen on the Magic, it's not as good as Animator's palette. We love Crush, okay, because for whatever reason, anytime we go to Epcot and we do Turtle Talk with Crush, he always picks my kids, always. And so like we love talking to Crush. We did enjoy that, but I would say that the lack of a true dinner show is the only drawback to the Dream. That is the only, if you asked me pros and cons, that is the only con to the Dream, is they do not have a true character interactive dinner show.
Yeah, because the Magic has the one with Rapunzel and the Wonder has the one with Tiana.
Yeah. The Wish has Frozen. And then Treasure has Coco. And the Art of Marvel. Yeah.
Wish has Art of Marvel too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only one. And, you know, like we just talked about how there was Dry Dock, you know, this year. I think that a lot of that, we wanted to see that. We thought that we might come back from Dry Dock with a more immersive dining experience.
I think next time, because the concierge level needed, because I've done concierge on the Dream and it was a tiny space. It was like, you walked in and you're like, oh, this is, I paid for this.
Yeah.
And now it's really nice. It's really nice. So like, I see why they prioritize the concierge lounge over a new dining experience, but I think the next time they go into Dry Dock, because they want all their ships to have the same basic offerings, and having now at this point they have more ships with a dining experience than without. So that's also like they had to retrofit concierge lounges into the Magic and the Wonder. Yeah. That wasn't a thing that was on those ships. So like they just have to keep retrofitting, and that's fine.
Well, it's because Disney Cruise Line used to be the add-on, you know, and now it is the destination. And so they are going back to the older ships and giving us what we want, which is amazing that it's always changing and evolving.
Yes. Yeah. There's also, my least favorite is Enchanted Garden, just because it's like in the basement of the ship.
So when I was doing the show notes and I was pulling stuff, I didn't even get that it was supposed to be inspired by the Garden of Versailles. Like that, I didn't pick up on that when I was.
Me neither. I've been to Versailles. Yeah. I would totally disagree with that.
So I don't know if that is bad information that I pulled for the show notes, because like we were sitting there and we were like, what is this supposed to feel like? And we were thinking Alice in Wonderland. Like that's what it felt to us. Like we couldn't place it.
Yeah, I would totally disagree with the Versailles thing. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it just it wasn't anything spectacular. The food was pretty good. The sea bass there is good.
The food is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we enjoyed the food there.
But overall, and the ceilings are really low. I don't know. This is very like Rachael neuroses. I don't like a low ceiling in a restaurant.
The lighting changed throughout the meal. And so y'all know what we do when we go on trips. We take pictures of the food for you guys. Like that's for y'all. That like being the annoying Instagram girl, can't take a bite. And the lighting changed. And so like I'm like, why is everything blue tinged now? Like I can't get good pictures. And that's so weird because it was a beautiful space. And like we enjoyed it, but I don't know.
The Royal Palace is the best one because it's bigger, it's grander, and it has the French inspired menu. We all love, well, I don't know if we all love. I love a French inspired menu. Same. So I thought the food, this one to me is the best food. So Royal Palace number 1, Enchanted Garden number 2, Animator's Palette number 3. I don't know. I don't like the Animator's Palette because it's like an Asian infusion kind of menu, and it's not my favorite flavor palette. So Royal Palace is my favorite.
The Royal Palace, it was of mine too. We got to 2 nights there, but one night was the Pirate Night menu. Yeah. So in the Pirate Night menu, we enjoyed that. We liked it very much.
I always do my.
You don't like pirate night menu?
No. But yeah, because I always do my adult dining on the pirate night.
Oh, okay. But it's a Caribbean, inspired. Yeah, and we like that. We're here for that flavor palette, so we enjoyed it.
Yeah, but if you're gonna sacrifice one night, I feel like that's the best one.
I agree.
Yeah. Speaking of adult only dining, this one does have Paolo and Remy. So these are, now that I've done Enchanté, I don't think Remy is the best one, but Remy is
that I'm bougie.
Look, we all know I love food. That's no secret. I'm gonna have the best food. I really enjoy Remy. We've gone in depth about Remy, but I'll just do it quickly again since maybe you didn't watch the fantasy episode. Watch the fantasy episode
watch all the episodes.
Watch all of our stuff. But so Remy has 2 menus you can choose. So you can order a la carte, which I would not recommend. You just do the tasting. It's highly recommend. But they have 2 menus. One's from a French chef and one is from a American chef. And I actually thought that the menus never changed. But as I was, because I'm an okay Instagrammer, but I forget lots of things. Like I forgot to take a picture of the menu because I just assumed it was the same, and it was not. As I was trying to like recall what my menu dishes were, I'm like, oh, that's not what that was.
Yeah, because then you're trying to go back and add your captions, and you're like, what
was this? Yeah, so the menu does change, but the signature dishes do not. So the signature dish from the French chef is like their take on a beef Wellington, which has foie gras in it, and it's really good. I think all told, it's actually 9 courses because you get a welcome bite and a amuse-bouche, 4 courses, a cheese course, to a welcome goodbye dessert in addition to the dessert you already get. So maybe it's 9, but
that's a lot.
It's a lot of food. It's $135, $135, $125, $135.
That's not a bad price to me.
No, I've paid more than that for less at like it's like Michelin star quality restaurants. So it's very, very good. Highly recommend. If you can't get into Remy or French food or multi-courses is not your thing, Paolo is available, and Paolo is the same everywhere except on the Titan class because it's Paolo Steakhouse. Yes. But this is Northern Italian food. They have the brunch experience, which Katie and I have both done, and we
love it.
Love it.
And it's the best value of anything. It is $50.
The brunch is the best value. Yes.
It is $50. And, I kind of don't pay attention to prices on things anymore. And like, I just booked it and they brought me the bill and I was like, oh,
you order off the menu and a buffet, right?
No, there's no longer a buffet. The buffet never returned post-pandemic. I had the menu pulled up here. You have a starter, which is an antipasta selection. You can order an eggs dish. You can order a waffle and pancake dish. They also have the from the oven, which is the flatbread pizzas. Oh, God. That flatbread pizza. I'm not a pizza stan like Rachel is, but
I had that calzone and it was amazing.
The calzone was like this
bigger than your face.
But she was like, our server said, listen, the best flatbread's not on the menu anymore. She said, it's the grape and gorgonzola. And do y'all want to try it? So they did like half goat cheese and sun-dried tomatoes, because I loved sun-dried tomatoes. And the other half was the grape and gorgonzola. So good. And then you have an entree.
So you immediately lost me with that.
An entree and a dessert for $50 and a complimentary mimosa. You can't beat that.
Okay, well now that I know the buffet is not back, that is a big bummer.
Yeah, it is, but we were still very happy.
I still agree that the $50, that's a great value, especially like with Remy, you get a complimentary welcome cocktail. Having look, we're not drunkies, but having a free alcoholic beverage included is always a nice perk because you end up paying like $10 to $15 for them.
Yeah. Who's going to turn down a nice glass of, a white wine or In my case, a mimosa. Never. You invite me anywhere and you say you want a mimosa, I'm always going to say, yeah, I do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a bummer not having the buffet, but that's okay. But still, it's a great value. It's a wonderful experience. We love an adult-only experience, and the kids can be in the kids club while you're doing this. That's what I get asked a lot. Is like, well, what are the kids gonna do while I'm in here? I'm like, the kids club.
Do you want to know what ours did? Because it was their last day, because our sea day was the last day, and they had not gotten to go watch Mufasa. And it was the last showing of Mufasa. And we said, y'all go down to the theater, buy yourself some popcorn with your magic band. And they watched Mufasa while we were doing brunch, and it worked out perfectly.
And that'll, of course, depend on the age of your kids and their level of independence. Yes.
Yes. The age of your children. You're not going to send your 5-year-olds to go do this, but they can go to
level of independence, because maybe your 5-year-old is a super independent, well-mannered kid. Probably not, but
I wouldn't do it with a 5-year-old. We have one very responsible child, and then we have one very ADHD scatterbrained child. And so together they're the perfect team.
Yeah, there you go. And then they have, of course, the quick service stuff. So Cabana's is the buffet. Luigi's Pizza, Tomater Grill, which has your burgers, hot dogs, chicken tenders. Ramon's Cantina, which is tacos and taco bowls, and Fillmore's favorites, wraps, paninis, and salads. And they're all in that pool deck area. Those were the good chicken tenders, not the ones at Cabana's.
Yeah, the good chicken tenders, the taco bowls, so good. So good. On par with Chipotle. And it's so convenient because it's right there on the pool deck. You can get in line for whatever you want. So, like, I think that all 4 of us, when we would go, we would get something different. Like, and then we would have a feast at the table.
So talk to us about the entertainment. You just most recently experienced this, so talk to us about it.
So the current entertainment on the Dream is Beauty and the Beast, which is phenomenal. The production quality of the Beauty and the Beast show is out of this world. I cried a couple of times. It is amazing. So good. You have the Golden Mickeys, which is kind of a singing variety show with all kinds of different characters. They're going to come out and sing different numbers from their shows. It's like an award show. It was really funny and it was good. Disney Believe, which is the original production. This one started out a little shaky for us.
It's also on the fantasy too.
Yeah. Did you just go watch it?
No, because Joe reminded me we've seen this like 3 times, and it's not my favorite, so we did.
The kids enjoyed it so much because it's kind of a story of a dad not believing in magic, and he is visited by Genie from Aladdin. Genie from Aladdin was so funny. Like, he turned that show around because I'm like this, and the kids like anything, but he was hilarious, and I was like, okay, we got more into it, but it's another kind of variety show where they're going to bring in several Disney characters. They are going to sing, songs from their movies. They had one scene from Princess and the Frog, and the woman singing was incredible. Like, it knocked my socks off because the performers are so good. Even if the storyline wasn't the greatest, the performers are amazing.
Well, and I don't know if this is actually true, but I've heard Jennifer Hudson was a Disney Cruise Line performer.
She was. That's how she got her start. And this lady that was singing from Princess and the Frog very much reminded me of Jennifer Hudson. Like the range.
And Disney, with its great connections. Like I'm sure if you do like a 6-month contract on a Disney cruise as a performer, and then you try to go to like maybe an off-Broadway show or a traveling Broadway show, they're like, oh, you were in Disney as the lead? Oh, let me for sure hear you.
Yeah.
Because Disney is an entertainment company, as we love to remind people. First and foremost, Disney's an entertainment company.
Yeah. You also have the Buena Vista Theater, which is going to be showing new movies. So like we cruised early January. Moana 2 was playing and Mufasa. And we were able to watch both. We didn't watch Mufasa because we went to brunch, but we did watch Moana 2. No good.
I watched Mufasa.
The kids liked it, but like we had no, but if you are lucky enough to be on a Disney cruise when a good Disney movie is in theaters, you will be able to watch it on the cruise ship.
I saw Inside Out.
Girl, that's a good one.
Oh my God, because I've been on when like 3 big movies have come out, but Inside Out was my first Disney cruise, and it was the Disney member cruise, and so we got like Inside Out swag and stuff, but Inside Out was one of them. My gosh, I wish I could remember, because what came out in 2023? I was on a Disney cruise in 2023 and 2017.
And not one in Kanto, was it?
No, not in January.
That might have been 2022.
I think it was an Avengers movie.
Oh, yeah, because it's not just the animated movies. Anything from the Disney brand. Star Wars.
One of them was the new Star Wars movie. And I was like, I'm not going to watch this. But it was, but yeah, like that is such a huge unsung perk. Like nobody goes on a cruise just to watch a movie. Okay. Like, let's just be honest about that. However, like most cruise lines do not have a movie theater. I can't think of another cruise line that has a movie theater, actually.
I don't think so either. But also, talk about the movies on the pool deck. So if you've cruised adult cruise lines before, I don't want to call them adult cruise lines, but Royal, other things like that.
Y'all know it's a kid cruise line. What are you talking about?
I know Royal is very much in the family market these days. Every decision Royal is doing is bringing it back to family, and we love that. But you know what I'm talking about? Like the big Jumbotron TV is like playing a football game. Or things
that they did for Super Bowl and playoffs.
The big games they will. But like we didn't want to swim. The kids were going on the slide. We were hanging out on the pool deck, and I'm watching Moana, and I'm singing Shiny, because that TV is just playing all the stuff you want to watch
all the time.
You also have the stage shows. You'll have the Sail Away Party. You'll have Pirate Night, which is going to have a Pirate Night stage show, and fireworks at sea, because Disney is the only cruise line that does fireworks at sea.
And you'll see the other ships parked because they know Disney's schedule. So they'll park so that their guests can see the fireworks. It's not as good, obviously, because they're far away. So we get the front row seat, but the other cruise lines will. It's funny because you can see them out in the ocean.
I did notice that when we went back to our room. I was like, look at all those ships around us.
Now, some people used to say that you could watch the fireworks from your veranda, but we got a notice that said, do not do that.
We did too. That said that, like, especially if the winds are high, they don't want you watching the fireworks from the veranda because things might blow back.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that might have been something that people used to do, and there was an incident.
I wonder if it was that, or we both cruised last in January. Like we both went in January, and it was a little windy, because we were actually on the cruises at the same time. We were just on different boats.
To be fair, I typically sail in January. I don't know, but it was normal windy. But I think this was the first time we had a stateroom on the starboard side. I think we usually have a stateroom on the port side.
Yeah.
So anyways, don't watch the fireworks from your balcony because you're not supposed to, and you could get hurt. So.
Well, and I mean, there was plenty of seating on the deck. Like we were sit down on the deck, and I mean, I didn't feel like it was overly crowded. I didn't feel
it's more fun when you're watching the show and you hear the music. It's more fun.
I will tell you that it was cold, and I was very jealous that I was not concierge, because the concierge people were bringing their people blankets. And I was like, dang it, why am I not concierge right now? Because it's
cold. So the adult district is similar to the fantasy, which we've talked about before. They have the Skyline Lounge, which is exactly what it sounds like. It has a rotating digital windows of different skylines. You can order different specialty cocktails from those specific cities, which is a really cool gimmick. Pink is my favorite champagne bar. It's kind of weird. It's like an egg, but the inside is really pretty, and it's all about champagne. Obviously, I love that. Evolution is the main nightclub with a dance floor. Pub 67 is exactly what it sounds like. It is a pub where you're going to watch most of your sporting events. That's what that basically is. And then the District Lounge is a stylish piano bar. There's also, we love, the Quiet Cove Pool and Cove Cafe. So the Quiet Cove Pool, it's so funny because it is on just the other side of the main pool. But when you cross the doors that say 18 and up, and it's not even doors, it's just like a little
it's like a maze, like partition.
Yeah, it's partitioned. It's not even doors.
Bob and weave.
Once you get on the other side, it's silent. And it's so nice. It's so relaxing. There's hot tubs. There's a small pool. There's a bar. But Katie's favorite thing on the entire cruise is there, Cove Cafe.
So there's 2 places. There's also one on deck 5 where you can stop and get a coffee, but Quiet Cove Cafe is the best one. That is where you're going to get your beautiful morning latte with your Disney character on it.
For an additional fee.
For an additional fee, they are not included. We spent more money on coffee than we did on alcohol because we are very much coffee people. And every morning we would alternate. One of us would go down and we would get our lattes. And I would give anything to be sitting on my veranda right now, drinking a coffee with Ariel on it.
That's where you get the cute designs. And they do work on a matcha. The girl was kind of like, I don't know, they don't really show up as well in a matcha. And I'm like, well, let's just try it. So it did. It looked cute. And I had my delicious matcha.
I do need to tell you a funny story. So, like, we became friends with the barista in the Cove Cafe. Okay, because we were in there every morning, like, chatting with her. The one that's tucked away on deck 5. It's not deck 5. I'm gonna have to look. So it's the one level above the atrium back there in the 4. That's 4. So we went there for our first like coffee when we got on the ship, and I was like, "What characters do you have?" And she's like, "I don't know. I don't know the names of the characters." And I said, "What?" And she's like, "I don't know Disney characters." Like, okay. So then we went to Cove Cafe.
I'm kind of surprised they don't have a book for you to flip through.
Yeah.
Because when I asked her for Donald and she gave me Donald, but it was baby Donald, and I was like a little off put that it was a baby Donald.
Yeah.
It was weird. And if she had showed me that, I would have been like, okay, well, give me Aurora instead. Like, I don't like this.
But it was so funny when she's like, I don't know who the characters are. I was like, that is such an odd thing to say on a Disney cruise line.
She'll learn them.
Yeah.
And the last adults only space that everybody, well, I say everybody I know loves is Senses Spa and Rainforest Room. I always get a massage, always. It is my treat yourself moment on a ship. Any ship I'm on, I'm going to have a spa treatment. The real bummer for me, in my opinion, is that the Rainforest Room is not included. Lots of spas, hotel spas, they include what they call Rainforest Rooms when you have a spa treatment. This is my biggest gripe with the spa is I paid a lot of money to get the spa treatment. I should get like an hour in the Rainforest Room. What the Rainforest Room is it's different saunas. There's aromatherapy. There's like 3 saunas, 3 different like shower rooms.
Yes. With different pressures and water temperatures that are supposed to do different things. Yeah.
Yes, they do different things. And then there's the heated loungers, and then there's hot tubs. And the reason I like the Dream and the Fantasy better is because their loungers look outside.
Yes, you have an ocean view or port view if you were the day that we went, because we had the Rainforest Pass for the entire time. We only got to go once. And let me tell you, those heated loungers are popular.
Magic. They're also magic.
They are so good, but they will fill up.
Yeah, they don't have very many.
And there's no one in there being like, hey, you've been on that for 2 hours. You should leave. I think you're just expected to do that, but people do.
Common courtesy.
Common courtesy.
Yes.
Yeah. My husband didn't even get to lay on a lounger because like I got out of the hot tub and he was like, I'm going to stay for a few more minutes. And like all of them were booked, like booties and loungers. And I'm like.
So check out the spa. We love it. I usually don't do the rainforest room because I'd rather have a spa treatment than the rainforest room, but it's very popular. So head to the spa first thing, get that set up so you're good to go. And I mean, we talked about the entertainment and adult spaces, but as you can imagine, there are tons of stuff for kids. And I'm going to let Katie talk all about this because she had kids that experienced it. So Katie, give us all the details on kids stuff.
Okay, so your first kids area is going to be your, it's a Small World nursery. Okay, that is not included in your cruise fare. Everything else we're going to talk about will be included in your cruise fare, but the nursery is not. It's for ages 6 months to 3 years. Okay, you do have to, there is a charge for it, and you do have to reserve your time. So like you have to go in and sign up for your nursery hours. But it is super, super cute in there. Ranges from infant stuff to toddler play areas, and it's just so cute. For your ages 3 to 12, this is included in your cruise fare, is Disney's Oceaneer Club and Oceaneer Lab. All right. And that is come and go whenever you want to, whenever they are open. You can drop your kids off. You do need to go on as soon as you get on the ship and register. You're going to set up a password for checking your kid in and out. If there is a time, they have times throughout the cruise that are called open house. And that means that the parents can go in with the kids. You cannot drop your kid off if they're having open house, because obviously there's other adults and parents in there.
Anybody can come in. So like yes, anybody can come outside of when you first get on the ship. That's the only time that I can go in.
Yeah. And so, but from what our experience was, if there is open house for Oceaneers Club, Oceaneers Lab, you can drop off there. So there's still one available for a drop off, during normal operating hours. It's a very immersive space. It's a huge space. There's tons of things to do. There is a Star Wars Millennium Falcon simulator where you can actually fly the Falcon. It was incredible. There's a Pixie Hollow area room that has all this Pixie stuff. There is Andy's room, and then there's Marvel Superhero Academy that has like little games and training things that you can do. That's actually where we met Spider-Man, which was really cool that we were able to meet Spider-Man at a non-Marvel day at sea sailing.
I saw Thor because they had like a Thor thing, and I saw him outside, and I almost ran outside to nab him, but I was in line for Donald, so priorities. But yeah. I clocked him. Is that handsome man?
Yeah. And so and this was confusing to us at first. They do character meet and greets in the Oceaneers Club, but it's when it's open house. So because like we have one kid who is aged out of Oceaneers Club, and we were like, can he go in to meet Spider-Man? It was during the open house hours for that day. So he was able to come in, and as a family, we were all able to meet Spider-Man, which I liked that, because he had just aged out like this year. So it was our first experience with Edge. I still get I say
you're really aging your kid up if he's
So Edge is built for tweens, okay? And like we said, Edge and Vibe just got a revamp while it was in dry dock. So that's going to be your 11 to 14. It is right next door to Vibe, which is the teen club, but they are separated, okay? It's more focused on games and things like that. There's video games. There's a lot of board games, things for do. There is some more cast member led stuff, but not as much cast member led stuff as you're going to see in Oceaneers Club and Oceaneers Lab. The best thing that on Pirate Night, they had a time where only kids that were the Edge kids could ride the AquaDuck. There was no one out there. My son made a friend, and they literally for like an hour just rode it over and over and over. Of course, that led to many tears from the younger one because she didn't understand why she couldn't go. So we had to go buy her a Captain Minnie stuffy. But that was really, really cool because the line for the AquaDuck will be long. And it does kind of feel like that's a weird age and they don't have a lot for them. And I really appreciated Disney carving out that time just for the Edge kids. Edge and Vibe do share a sun deck and a small pool, but I don't believe that they are out there at the same time. I think that Edge will have
Vibe. Those kids aren't vibing with the Edge kids.
These are our older kids. They are your 14 to 17-year-olds. They are your straight up teenagers. Okay. Their club feels like a nightclub. Like it very much feels like a nightclub. It's dark. There's lots of little spaces for hanging out. Not so much cast member led things. It's just they get to do whatever they want to do. It does have like a little coffee house lounge vibe.
Yeah, it's more like a hangout space. Because the kids that age don't need as much stimulation as kids
or
do.
Supervision either, and very much the freedom.
Yeah, they're just in there because they don't want to be around their parents.
Exactly. It's like a private club hangout.
Yes. Now, the last area that we're going to talk about is the pools. Now, like for me, I could care less about the pools. I'm not a pool person. I am doing so many other things, but it sounds like you guys spent a decent amount of time. Granted, it was a 7-night cruise, so you guys were there for a long. I keep thinking. I don't know why I keep thinking.
I know. I wish the Dream had a 7-night. I'd be on it again. Like,
I mean, they do in the Med, but
I know we love a long cruise. Like, we are long cruise people. We spent a good amount of time on the pool deck. When I was not trying to win trivia medals, that's where we were.
Well, and so you already talked about the AquaDuck, which is the water slide. There is so it's Nemo's Reef. It's a splash pad. So the smaller kids have a place to play. And then there's, the main pool where everybody can hang out. So there's lots of pool space too. But it's, there's, sorry, I was looking at my socks.
So random.
Oh yeah. So for me, the pools are whatever. Did you ever have an issue finding loungers?
No, because what we did, because our kids are a little bit older, they don't need us holding their hands, is we went up to the next deck up and we would get loungers there and we would get a drink and we would watch the movie. And because our kids were bouncing from the pool where they would watch a movie to the AquaDuck. So like from up there, I could see them at all times. Like I knew where they were headed. That I could see where it could be an issue, but it wasn't for us because we were okay with going up to the next deck.
Yeah, and you could see them. So again, that's going to go back to how much do you trust your kids? How old are they? So if you're going to spend time at the pool, you probably want to head out there early so you can make sure you get a lounger in a spot where you want it to be more independent. You have a little more trust in them behaving and not running around like a crazed.
And if there was a time where I could not see them in the pool area, I knew exactly where they went. They were getting ice cream. Like they were getting, and sure enough, about 2 minutes later, I'd see one of them walking back with the ice cream, and they would down their ice cream, get back on the AquaDuck.
Which it reminded me, because you said trivia. We don't always talk about all the activities to do on board, but we've told you about the spaces, but I, as I've mentioned, don't always do the spaces stuff. So there's plenty of other things to do. We've mentioned it before, but we should just mention it all the time. There's tons of character meet and greets all day, every day, throughout the day. Typically, it's just like the Fab Five, but the princesses will also be available. There's tons of trivia options. There's sometimes cooking demonstrations. There's beverage seminars, which are adult beverage seminars. There's Animation Academy where you learn to draw pictures. There's movies. What am I?
Arts and crafts.
There's arts and craft. It never worked out, but there was had a friendship bracelet making one on mine. And I'm like, I want to do this, but it was always at the same time as like the show. And I'm like, but I want to watch the show.
That's the hardest part of a Disney cruise, is because there's so much stuff you want to do and you cannot do it all. And sometimes we would just wander into something and we didn't know it was happening. Like we were going to trivia because I was obsessed with getting a trivia medal. I missed by one question about 5 times.
Oh, okay.
No, it was way more. It was like a lot. Okay. It was a problem. And we walked into the D Lounge, which is like a family friendly kind of like space. And they were doing like a pirate, it was pirate night or pirate night afternoon. And they were doing like these pirate games with the kids. And even though we had like just walked in, my daughter was like, I'm doing that. And she runs up there and like they were playing all these like relay races and all this fun stuff. And I was like, this is so cute. Didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, there's so much to do. So while like, you know, a lot of people compare it to Royal Caribbean. So while there's not a rock climbing wall or a wave simulator or all these other like paid for additional activities, there's so many other fun, engaging things to do. Like I didn't get to sit and relax in my stateroom until my husband watched the football game. And I'm like, well, this is when I want to sit and read my book. So I only got to like sit around for like 2 hours on our whole
Agreed. We did not do near the amount of just sitting on the veranda as we have done with previous cruises, because it was always something. There was always somewhere we wanted to go.
And you can obviously opt out, and you can obviously just go sit at the pool or go sit on your veranda.
Unless you have FOMO.
Exactly. But we are like, no, absolutely not. There's lots of things that I want to do. So I'm going to go do those things. But you can opt out. And the ship is small enough where I feel like you're up at the pool deck and you're like, oh, there's something going on deck 5 that really interests me. It's going to take you 2 minutes to get there.
Oh yeah. Very, very easy to navigate. You know, I recommend always having a room close to the stairs, you know, because that way you were just zipping up and down to whatever deck you want to be and not messing with the elevators, because mobility
deck 6
friendly.
and 7 are my favorite. Don't ever put me on deck 5 ever again. Because deck 5 is where the kids club deck is.
Yeah. And those get a little bit congested, like when it's open and closed for kids club, like there might be a little bit of a line. Yeah.
I had to body check a couple people because they wouldn't get out of my
you did
face.
not.
I mean, yes, I did. Like, let's have some spatial awareness, people, and get out of the way. This is a hallway. Get out of the way. That's why the Wish is superior with their kids club, because it's in its own little spot. It doesn't impede traffic to get to staterooms. So like that is really nice. And the Fantasy and the Wonder and the Magic, I think, are like that too. But at least on the Fantasy, like that kids club entrance is in a hallway that leads to staterooms.
Yeah.
And it's obnoxious. So the Wish, where it's like its own thing, was a great upgrade.
And I don't think we realized that until we were going around and doing our fish extender, that I was like, oh, if you walk straight past kids club, there's staterooms right here. I'm like, oh, interesting. Yeah. But that might be the ideal spot for someone who wants to drop their kid off all the time and pretend they don't have children, which, no judgment. I love that.
We love that for you. And then you can go have some champagne cocktails in Pink.
Yeah, you could go to Pink and you could go to Palo and you could just do whatever you want to.
And honestly, a lot of my clients, their feedback is we had to pry our kids out of kids club.
That's not my experience, but I knew that going in.
But I think if both of your kids could have been in there, maybe it would have been different.
Yeah, I think so. The first night, AJ was so hyped about getting in there. She did not go see the Golden Mickeys with us because she was like, no, I'm going. In fact, my Instagram story, she was literally the first kid to sign in when the doors opened. And she went a couple more times, but like also they were more of pool, you know, but I know that about my kids. I know that they are very much pool and water slide kids. So like,
yeah, I could see me as a child not wanting to, because I don't like the pool. So I'm like, give me this kids club where there's all these fun things to do. So yeah, I mean, 100% it's going to depend on your own kids, but it's just, it's nice that they have this dedicated space with cool stuff to do.
But words are hard. Royal Caribbean Kids Club and my son do not vibe whatsoever. He has some sensory issues. He does not like crowds. He does not like loud. He does not like any of that stuff. Edge was perfect for him because after he came back the first time, because he can sign himself in and out. So like he just came back to the room and I was like, how was it? He's like, it was fine. I was like, no issues. You didn't feel overwhelmed. You didn't feel, he's like, no, it was quiet. I met some kids. Like, you know, it was cool. I was like, all right, bet, which is good to know, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cause I know a lot of kids have sensory issues, and that is a concern oftentimes with any vacation you go on, not just a cruise, but you know, that's a concern regardless. And you know, that is actually a good topic to bring up because I think a Disney cruise can be overwhelming, but you can also remove yourself from those overwhelming situations.
absolutely.
Yeah, because like the deck parties, the things where like it's scheduled congregation, you can also go to a different deck. So like the sail away party, you don't need to be on the pool deck. You can be on deck 12 or even a little bit further back on deck. Well, it depends on the ship, but there's an even further up deck where you can still see it, still have the fun and engagement, but you're not in the thick of it. Like me personally, I'll never be on the pool deck for any of those things because it's too crowded for me. I'm on deck 12.
So sail away, we were on the pool deck. I immediately regretted it. Regretted it. And then for Mickey's Pirates of the Caribbean, which is Mickey and the Fab Five, their pirate night show, we did go up to deck 12. And then when we went back for the Pirates of the Caribbean with Jack Sparrow, we went back to the pool deck. But that was like, I don't know if it was just this sailing. It was very chill. Everybody was sitting. Everybody was cold.
I think they make people sit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was less sensory overload for that show than it was like really nice. Like we're all sitting cross-legged, huddled up together, watching the fireworks. Like it was a nice family moment.
Yeah. So if you don't want to be in the throng of things, like for the final farewell that they do in the atrium, don't be on the ground floor. Now, if you're not on the ground,
it from the elevator.
Yeah, I wanted to meet all the characters, so I was on the ground floor. But if you don't want to meet the characters, you just want to see the cute little goodbye, you just want to see the characters, then be on one of the other decks in the balcony so you can see it, but you're not.
At that moment, I had lost my children. So we talk about Katie giving her kids a lot of freedom on the cruise. They were doing the detective agency where you get all the clues. We were packing. Okay. So like we were trying to distract them while we were packing, you know, just so we had more room to move around the stateroom. And they went and did every single clue. And I was looking for them during the final farewell. I found them, obviously.
So yeah, you can have moments of overwhelm, but like if you go to the Broadway show 2 minutes before it starts, then you don't have to deal with the crowds when they arrive. If you go to dinner a couple minutes after the seating starts, you won't have to deal with that. Like there's strategic ways you can deal with it to not.
We sat on the balcony for all of the shows, and it was not as sensory overload up on the balconies. It was Now it does ruin a little bit of the magic because you can see the stage and like how they're making the stage production. It does ruin a little bit, but like for our family, it was better. Like we liked being on the balcony.
Yeah. So there's lots of ways to deal with sensory overload, which I appreciate. You can participate as much as you want.
Choose your own adventure.
Yes. So in case it wasn't obvious, we highly recommend a Disney cruise. I am a child-free person and I recommend it for adults. Katie has a family and recommends it for families. So there's a wide spectrum of who Disney is great for. And we just started booking through September of 2026. So if you're like, I want to know what this Disney cruise is all about, hit us up. Our handles are in the show notes, and you can also go to alonzi-travel.com/take the trip. We've said this before, but it always bears repeating. The best cruise fares are when they are first released. They'll never get better than they are today. because how cruises work is the more the staterooms, even in a category. So categories can get higher than other categories, but as more staterooms are booked, the pricing gets higher and higher and higher. So your best pricing is when the itineraries are first released. We mentioned a couple times the Dream is going to the Mediterranean next summer. The itinerary is fantastic, especially the Greece one. It's in and out of Rome.
You going?
No, but I have a client that's going on that one.
Because of Tokyo.
I'm going to Tokyo in 2026, so I will not be on a Disney cruise. But they have some really great itineraries, and it's not a very long season. So if the Mediterranean is on your list, this needs to be booked ASAP. So hit one of us up. We are passionate about Disney Cruise Line. I've been on all the ships except the Treasure now. Katie's working on her bingo card.
I'm working on it. Oh, wait, can you see my little cruise back there? Because of this, my husband now wants to collect all of those cruise models. So he even says that we've got to go to Asia to do the adventure. With what money, I want to know. But apparently that's a new family goal.
I love that for you, and I support that mission. So hit us up so we can help your Disney Cruise Line dreams come true. And until next time, bye.